Tirreno-Adriatico, Stage 3, destination Foligno. And if this is preparation for the classics, then no finer scenery to engage in exactly that. Long distance today, 216 kilometres, a longer day still to come tomorrow. Climbing, a little bit of it today, certainly enough to generate interest from a breakaway. A jersey up for grabs, of course, in that regard. But this surely was going to end for the sprinters, but how brutal would it be? A highly technical finale as we cut halfway between the two seas that we're racing for, leaving the Mediterranean behind. And the sunshine of this morning, welcome yet again. Well, this day was supposed to be full of wind and perhaps a little rain. We signed on this morning for duty. Some of those who've had success in the past certainly wanted perhaps to make an impression. We were hoping so. So rolling out, temperatures hovering around about 14 Celsius, not warm by any means. And in fact not much of a white hot battle, it has to be said, for the breakaway. Well, 4 went off up the road, including both Davide and Mattia Bais, the brothers doing a job on Stefano Gandin, who had a teammate in Iaki along with him. He wearing the green King of the Mountains jersey, taking that in the opening road race proper yesterday, stage 2 of this one. Well, backing into the peloton, knowing that the green jersey was passing to the shoulders of Ilo Cometa. Well, the breakaway finally wound in, and with 70 kilometres to go, there was a suspicion that this might actually degrade into something of a battle, and it turned out to be so. It was actually the race towards a wide open plain where crosswinds were suspected. Around about 20 kilometres to go, it was looking extremely nervous, and the question was, who would attack? Well, there are teams here, of course, full of specialists when it comes to crosswinds. The pace was very, very high, and in fact one touch of a curb here causing a nasty delamination, as you can see. And our worries were well founded. On behalf of Abrea, he got himself back up with some abrasions. Well, Jumbo-Visma were the ones that throwing the hammer down, and with 10 kilometres to go, well, the suspicion of wind, whether it was there or not, certainly drove everyone off. It was extremely nervous. Primož Roglic up towards the front as he had been the day prior, safety first for him, but a band of 20 riders were off the front, and many of the principal sprinters were caught behind. Would they manage to close the gap, and would there be any panic? Jasper Philipsen had bridged over to the front group, courtesy of jumping onto the back wheel of Filippo Ganna, who was concerned, of course, about preserving his lead overall. Well, with Philipsen in a great place, so was Mathieu van der Poel, who started to thread the needle in the last 2 kilometres, with a very technical finale just looming in front of absolutely everybody. Into the final sequence, little flick-flacks, chicanes everywhere, and in fact no sight of the line until the last 175 metres. It was now time to turn it on. Well, Van der Poel is the ultimate lead-out man at a moment such as this. Out of the saddle only at the final turn, and doing enough to make sure that Jasper Philipsen took the day. Nobody could get close. By the time Philipsen was released, he was on rails. Phil Bauhaus pushing strong, but wondering and wishing for a teammate like Van der Poel. Philipsen taking it ahead of the fast finishing Philip Bauhaus from Bahrain victorious. Biniam Girmay getting a fine podium, taking another step forward. Confirmation of the results, Moschetti went close, so did Consoni. Italians up there, but really this was about the job that Van der Poel did and Jasper Philipsen. Absolutely supreme, but the overhead shot underscores the greatness of the man. Beseated into the last 175, then out of the saddle, giving absolutely everything. But Jasper Philipsen just had to finish the job, which of course he did. You can see the European champion there. Yesterday's winner, Fabio Jakobsen, just out of sorts and using a shoulder on the barriers to make room for himself. Biniam Girmay, who's going extremely strongly. None stronger though than Upsim de Koenig and Jasper Philipsen. And the victory, of course, tied with second place behind Jakobsen yesterday, and Philipsen takes over the lead in the Cyclamen jersey competition. Filippo Ganna leads overall ahead of Lenny Kamna from the same margin he carried out of the time trial on day one. Tomorrow, however, is a very different form of racing. We go climbing, and almost straight out of the back door, it's difficult. A breakaway will have to be very brave and maybe lucky if it's going to succeed tomorrow. What sort of makeup that will be is anybody's guess. What we do know is that it's a very, very tough circuit on the Adriatic coast once we reach our target. Tortoretto, or torture you might say, for our entertainment. Can't wait. Those bosses at the end will turn into real walls after a very, very tough day. Another one on the Tirreno-Adriatico.